right, now listen up.
3, 2, 1.
It's showtime.
That's great.
This is ridiculous.
99.3 The Truth.
You can't handle the truth right now.
Ooh.
That's the stupidest thing I ever heard.
Let's do it.
Hit it.
It's time for Mac's World.
And here we go.
Everybody, let's get it started. Let's get it started in here.
Call Mac 244-0077 or text 809-0993.
It's showtime, everybody. Showtime.
Exclusively on 99.3 The Truth.
Good afternoon. It is 3:06 on a Wednesday afternoon. I just had a fantastic lunch today. Got to go to the Christian Business Network lunch at Pizza Ranch there on 86th Street. Just another great event. We actually got to hear from a bridge builder. No, not. I'm not speaking about metaphorically. I'm talking about a real bridge builder. If you know who Robert Kramer is, president of Kramer & Associates, he actually spoke to our group today at lunch, and it was quite good. It was quite good to hear him. I had known of him. He had run campaigns here in the state of Iowa. But he is a Christian businessman. Talked to a bunch of Christian business leaders today about how to run our business, how to operate our business to God's glory. Learned some really good stuff today. We meet for lunch every Wednesday at noon at Pizza Ranch. It's Christian business owners get together, share life together. We share leads. We share business concerns with one another. It's really a great opportunity. So if you were a small, medium-sized business owner, or you know someone who is a small or medium-sized business owner, I definitely encourage you to invite them to our Wednesday lunch. You can find out more about that. If you want, you can call the station. Actually, if you want, you can call the studio right now, and Jeb will get your contact information, and I'll call you back and get you connected with the business lunch. That phone number is 515-244-0077. This is Mac's World Live. I'm Chris Roloff filling in for J. Michael McCoy this afternoon once again. Mac is going to take the rest of the week off. He just needed a break. You know, I offered him a Kit Kat. He said that wasn't enough. I said, but you need a break today. And he said, I need more than just a Kit Kat break. So he's going to take some time off. But the regular cast of characters are here. Frank the Verse Thomas is here with us. Bob Montserrat, the cat in the hat, sort of mic-less a little bit. We're going to have to share mics, but he's here to watch your texts and respond to your texts. So if you want to text into the show, you can at 515-809-0993. And Jeb is answering the phone right now. But Jeb is our producer of the broadcast today. Guys, I want to introduce a couple of other special guests we have in studio for us. I'll go from my right to left. Does it matter on the radio dial? Just imagine John is on the left-hand side of your car. So wave to John. John Wilkin. Hi, John. Robert Dunn is with us. Yep, we got to talk into mics. It's radio. And then Taylor Collins is here. And these three young men are all Iowa State students. And it's really funny. Last time you guys were in here, one of the things that we talked about were these the white heritage posters again, and they're in the news once again. There's more of these white heritage posters going up around the Iowa State campus. But we're going to get to you guys in a little bit. What are you guys here primarily to talk about? Tyler, why don't you?
Well, we're here to talk about, again, the lawsuit against Leith right now. Actually, the guy whose First and 14th Amendment rights were violated is here today, Robert. And we thought we'd bring him down and talk a little bit about that, what he can talk about. And I thought it'd be good to get him on the air here. So,
tell me just give us a little bit of heads up on what's going on with Robert.
Well, Robert is a senior in accounting. And he, at the beginning of the school year, had to fill out what's called an anti-discrimination policy. And he read through it, and he thought, this doesn't seem right. I shouldn't have to sign away my First Amendment rights. And he refused to. And he contacted the office of, was it Equal Opportunity?
Correct.
And he was told that if he did not sign on with the program, that his graduation would be put on hold, and he'd be put on a list to be reviewed by the dean. And currently, the Alliance Defending Freedom filed suit on his behalf and is currently still in court right now.
Is there anything you can tell us, Robert? I know in these cases you have some limited information you can share, but Alliance Defending Freedom is representing you right now, correct?
Yeah, correct. Basically, one of the reasons for the suit is Alliance Defending Freedom had contacted Iowa State university previously about 3 years ago to work with them on making sure that their harassment codes were on par with the First Amendment. Iowa State had not responded, and when they did respond, they said that they were revising the codes. Apparently, the revision is what the issue that we're having now, and so we decided to file suit because we've already tried to work with them, and they've kind of blown us off. One of the things that really got my attention was the training was in regards to preventing sexual assault on campus. And then when we got to the actual policies, I noticed that there was a lot of vague language in regards to what harassment is, including harassment can be subjectively defined as anything that is annoying, like Taylor could find whatever I'm saying right now annoying and say, well, that's harassment and I don't feel safe on campus. And then he can make a complaint. Well, legally, the definition of harassment is a lot more narrow than that.
Right. Is that kind of stuff give way to safe zones? Does Iowa State have safe spaces on campus?
We have safe spaces now after this election, apparently.
After the election?
Yeah. Yes.
So you guys did, before November 8th, you did not have safe spaces?
I was not aware about it, but...
there is. It's the LGBTQ students in the student services have a safe space in the student services building brought to you and paid for by tuition and taxpayer money.
Well, there you go. There you go. Well, we're going to talk more about that. We're going to talk about Leith lawsuit that's going on. But first, I want to get to just a couple of headlines here. They're just going around. These are just some quick bulletins. Want to let you guys know some sad news. A Newton woman, according to WHO Television, a Newton woman was killed in a crash on Highway 163. That was one person has died following a crash in Marion County Tuesday night. This was last night. Happened around 5:30 p.m. on Highway 163 southwest of Pella. A westbound vehicle went off the road and rolled several times. 2 passengers were thrown out of the vehicle. The person who died was 22-year-old Sasha Zinn. So definitely prayers go out to Sasha Zinn's family and those that loved her very much. Very sad news indeed last night for a lot of people. Also wanted to let you know, this is, are you guys familiar with skimmers? Yep. What a skimmer is a lot, and this is why credit cards have moved. If you've got a credit card and goes to this chip reader, if you've wondered why they're going towards these chip readers, it's because there's a thing called a skimmer. Whenever you swipe your credit card, there's a way that you can actually, the criminals have attached inside those swipe devices, sometimes at gas pumps, sometimes at grocery stores, sometimes other retail establishments. And when you swipe your card, not only are you paying for your product, but the data from your card is being stolen. The Clive Police Department have released photos of a suspect related to recent case of skimming going on. These skimmers have been placed in ATM machines in local banks right here in Clive. If you want to see pictures of the person they suspect doing this, you can go to the Clive Police Department Facebook page. The photos were released yesterday on the department's Facebook page and show the 2 suspects. There are actually 2 people involved. The images were taken from the surveillance camera of the ATM machines themselves. Oops, I guess they forgot about those. The police have not released the names, but if you know anything about it, if that's your uncle, if your uncle is the guy been doing this, why don't you call the Clive Police Department at 515-278-1312. Here's another one. I thought this was a joke at first, but it's not. And this probably happened to you, Frank.
Could be.
People in the Des Moines metro area are being asked to watch out for another scam. The United States Postal Inspection Service says several customers in the Des Moines metro area are receiving spam emails. The emails say that the United States Postal Service is attempting to deliver a package to them but wasn't able to do so. It then instructs them to click on a link to print off a delivery label. Don't do it. Don't click that link. That link would then supposedly take you to the post office. It does not. In fact, if you click that link, your computer gets a terrible virus. So the United States Postal Service is saying don't do that. Don't click on those. But if you do get an email like that from the United States Postal Service saying that you've been that a package was attempted to be delivered to you, but they were unable to deliver it, don't click that link. In fact, what they would like you to do is forward that email to spam@uspis.gov, spam@uspis.gov. You just forward that email to them so they can track these people down. That's just a jerky thing to do. In fact, it's happened to people that I know. Because what happens on these viruses is then these emails start coming from people you do know. It says, hey man, I was going to share this document with you, Taylor. Could you just click? You just to see this document that I was going to send you. Just click on this, and you do, and it seems like, oh, I can't access this document right now. And you think, no big deal. They just took your contact list, shot it out to everybody you know. It's just, these things are just sucky. What a jerk thing to do. Why you do that, Bob? Are you behind this, man?
No.
That's just a jerky thing to do. It's a jerky thing to do. All right, last but not least, this is interesting for those who live in Ankeny. I want to make you guys aware of tonight, there is a public meeting going to be held tonight in Ankeny. This is about how Ankeny is going to handle their upcoming growth. Ankeny is U.S. Census Bureau has been named the third fastest growing city in America. And so how are they going to do this? The mayor of Ankeny has said that he doesn't want to pass the buck on to the taxpayer. So he's got to figure out what they're going to do by 2040 to deal with the massive growth of Ankeny. Any of you guys have friends or family living in Ankeny?
Well, these guys that go to school in Ames may have Ankeny as a neighbor one day.
Boy, howdy. It seems like it's growing that fast, isn't it? Hey, this is Max World Live on 99.3 FM, The Truth. I'm Chris Roloff filling in. We're going to talk about... we're going to talk about protests and walkouts and all that when we get back here on 99.3 FM, The Truth.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Hi. My name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
Hey everybody, I brought Northern Lights Pizza! And it's got Graziano sausage!
Rockton Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens, rock on! This is Pat McManus for Rockton Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Well, the hashtag is not my president. Hashtag not my president. And if you don't know what a hashtag is, good. Don't worry about it. Who cares? It's no secret. I talked about this yesterday here on Max World Live. I'm done. It was over a week ago. I quit Facebook. I actually took Twitter off my phone. I'm done. I don't do the Snapchat or any of that other stuff. I don't care anymore, man. I'm done. Social media has gone cuckoo bananas. It's not the place for me, but it is the place for a lot of people. In fact, the hashtag not my president is sort of it's replaced the never Trump people. But these are progressive left folks that have decided that Donald Trump is not their president, and they have organized all kinds of protests and walkouts and all different kinds of things. And we've got 3 students here from the Iowa State University, You can tell that I'm not from Iowa, can't you?
Right.
Yeah, that gave it all away.
Sound like a Hawkeye on there.
That's right. Oh, that's right. Sorry about that. I apologize.
Well, not to
Go State.
Not to rub it in,
Amen.
but the last time you guys were here, you made a prediction. I won't say what it was, but since Trump has won, has it been an epiphany to you guys to see how it's shaken out and who's protesting and just kind of see that maybe the right people are protesting to kind of make you know that maybe Trump was the right decision all along?
Well, I don't know if he was the right or the wrong decision, but I think it's I honestly don't know. I mean, these people are Marxists. They have no idea what's going on. They have no respect for the democratic process. So I don't know if Trump was the right or wrong solution, but I definitely think what these guys are doing is wrong.
And well, it's not just happening in Iowa State. You guys talked about this a little bit earlier. The Hawkeye Nation, right? They protested right onto Highway 80, right?
Yep.
Onto Interstate 80. I did not see that. Now I don't live over there, but so this is going on not only university campuses, but it's going on at Des Moines Public Schools. In fact, last night, 150 community members and students attended the Des Moines School Board's meeting last night to discuss an array of student walkouts protesting the election. So, this is fascinating stuff. So, all right, here is one of the comments that was made by one of the students that helped organize this walkout. Jaleisha Johnson is her name. She said, I just wanted to thank, this is why she was at the school board meeting yesterday. She said, I just wanted to thank the Des Moines Public Schools for supporting us in a time when we feel like the government won't do it anymore. I just want to say that line again because that was the line that struck me. Jaleisha Johnson walked out of school with a whole bunch of her friends because she didn't feel like the government was supporting her anymore.
So let me get this straight. The government is giving her a public education, and she doesn't feel supported?
She doesn't. She doesn't. And I think is this the Obama phone thing? I mean, is it the same? Does it feel like the Obama phone kind of thing? I mean, look, I understand, a lot of people didn't get the outcome of the election they wanted. Now, Taylor, it's none of my business, but I'm going to ask you anyway. And I'm going to ask all of you guys. Frank voted for Trump. Bob, I don't know. Taylor, did you vote for? You can tell it doesn't matter.
I voted for Evan McMullin.
You voted for Evan McMullin. John?
As did I.
And Robert?
Trump.
You voted for Trump. All right. So we had some Trump voters in here. We had some people who didn't. So the two of you that voted for Evan McMullin, my pastor voted for Evan McMullin. I can't even say his name. Evan McMullin.
Yep.
So did my wife.
There you go. So your wife did too. And a lot of people did. You guys didn't get what you wanted. You didn't want Trump. You didn't vote for Trump because you didn't want Trump to be the president of the United States. Right? So that was, but you guys are not rallying with these Not My President people. Why not? Your guy didn't get elected.
Basically, my take is that if Ted Cruz were the nominee and he was elected president, they would be doing the exact same thing. It's not who's president, it's that they are not in charge. That's the thing.
You just feel like Democrats are not in charge. You feel like that they lost it. They had 8 years.
Yeah. I mean, with George W. Bush, I mean, looking back, he was not really a conservative, but he was the left hated him when he was reelected. It was, the worst person in the world. Same with Reagan, same with Nixon.
Right, absolutely.
Well, some of the videos that came out about the Democrats supporting financially disruptors to go in and disrupt Trump protests to create violence, and then have the audacity for Hillary to stand on a debate stage and accuse Trump of being violent and that his protesters are violent when she was the one and her comrades that were funding it.
Oh, yeah. George Soros and her other henchmen, pushing these guys in front of every camera and making a big hoopla out of everything. But
so does it smack of hypocrisy that what they accused the Trump people that they were going to do, they are now doing that or worse?
I think the liberals are a good example of hypocrisy, not just for this argument, but for many.
Their appearance just smacks of hypocrisy.
Well, I think there's more going on here potentially, and this is the interesting part, and that is, you guys talked about this in the break a little bit. Des Moines Public Schools, Iowa State University, they are on the side of the protesters. Right, that's no secret, right? The Des Moines Public School actually has said that they're happy. It was Iowa Republican. I'm sorry, not Republican, not Republican. I was about to say his name, and Frank would have been like, "That guy's not a Republican." Iowa Representative Akayo Abdul Samad spoke directly to a person at this meeting last night who was saying that these protests were ridiculous. The students should be going to school and be getting educated. That's what our tax-paying money is for. Akayo said that I have to agree with that gentleman because that just left that your job. Excuse me. I have to agree with that gentleman that just left that your job. This is terribly written. Never mind. I can't even read that sentence. Anyway, the point is, he was saying that he's proud of the teachers for educating their kids to walk out.
For God's sakes, go to class, go to school. I mean, right. Quit legitimizing this stuff.
But this is for a lot of people, this is education. This is getting involved in the free speech process. This is expressing yourself. This is freedom of speech. And Robert, that's what you want. I mean, you want freedom of speech, right?
Well, here's the difference. As someone who 10 years ago, I used to be on the left. I grew up in a very union household. Mother was a radical feminist until parents found Christ and changed everything. Well, a lot of political correctness, and I think a lot of the rage that's happening now is, if you look at the numbers, the left is trying to say that the reason why Trump won is that all these white racists just went out and voted. The numbers are saying that is not true. Whether you like or dislike Trump, a lot of the Democrat quote-unquote victim groups, while they might not be a majority, a significant number split off, and the left does not like that. They want groups like, African Americans, Latinos, women, the gay community. They want them in their place. You're a victim. You need us. And if anyone veers off the proverbial identity politics reservation, they're a sellout. There's been a significant number of the homosexual community that has said, we don't want to be victims. We're not victims, At least with the Christians, we can agree, and we don't have to worry about killing them. If ISIS takes over, we don't have that debate. We're both dead. And so they're like, for our self-interest, maybe we ought to give Trump a chance. The left hates that idea. And so the political correctness is mainly about keeping those victim groups in line.
What do you think? We want to hear from you. This is Max World Live. You can call us at 515-244-0077, or you can send us a text at 515-809-0993. Why do you think students both at Iowa State, at the University of Iowa, Des Moines Public Schools, and lots of other places are walking out this week? Why are they going out in protest? Are they just mad because the guy that, or girl in this case, that they wanted to win the election didn't get the election? Why are they upset? John, what do you think?
Yeah, I think one big thing, and I think this is legitimate actually, a lot of the rhetoric Trump has used throughout his campaign, and especially the videos that came out of him, they like legitimize sexual assault. They attack certain minority groups and speak of them in ill ways. And what a lot of people across the country, like, racism in general is kind of suppressed. It has been for a while now, but now people are seeing that there's a presidential elect who used a lot of this rhetoric, and he just got elected president on it. So people feel like empowered now to like let their racism flare out, I guess, and let some of their sexism flare out too. And
is that what you think is happening at the Iowa State campus with these white heritage posters? Do you think that's part of it? Are they letting their racist white flag fly, so to speak?
I don't think that's the underlying cause of the posters, but I do know I have cousins, I have friends who are part of either the LGBT community or minority groups who do feel somewhat threatened now that they're going to be harassed because there's a president who uses this rhetoric. And I liked how Trump on the 60 Minutes interview, he pointed at the camera when he was asked about it and said, stop it. He specifically saying that he doesn't condone that type of actions.
Right. And I think that was one of the things that's sort of upsetting about this is, and we've talked about this early during the election, the things that Donald Trump said that were foolish. They were well, foolish instead of being nice. Yeah. He said some horrendous things, right? He did. He said some, suggested sexual assault at the very least, said some very bigoted, racist-sounding things for sure. But those things being said is one part of the issue. The other part of the issue is Hillary Clinton's primary focus during her campaign were to take those things that he said and play them over and over and over and over and over and over again on television through her ads. The news media was repeating those over and over and over again. And now we find young people both at college campuses and high schools that are afraid. They're genuinely afraid because this is what's been thrust down their throat, that Donald Trump is the bad man and he's gonna take their non-white friends away. He's going to kick anybody that's not white out of the country. Not true, but that's how they've been told that they're going to feel. And if you're part of the LGBT community or if you're a minority, that you're going to be abused and beaten. And these are the fears that we have. In fact, this isn't stuff I'm not making this up. This is genuinely how they feel. In fact, one of the students, Robert, and I don't know how to say Robert's last name right. I apologize, brother. I don't know. He's a junior at North High School. He was at this meeting for the Des Moines Public Schools last night, and this is what he said. He said, I walked out because I felt unsafe. I walked out. He's talking about the walkout protests around the Des Moines area. I walked out because I believe that we are a school district that values a voice of love, unity, and togetherness. We walked out on Wednesday. I felt like we had unity. I felt like we cared about each other. Well, that's good. But he didn't feel like that, and that's why he walked out. He felt afraid. What do you think? Do you think students, young people, anybody in America that's part of the LGBT community or part of the minority, should they feel afraid? And what do we do about that? We want to hear from you at 515-244-0077 or send us a text at 515-809-0993. Bob, do we have a text that came in? You were gesturing as though we did.
Was I?
It looked like, but that's just out of my peripherals.
No, I've got a chat.
Okay.
They're going out and protesting because they can. The parents and professors allow it. If your boss allowed you to walk out and not get in trouble, only the grown-ups would be at work. So anyway, the problem is that the rhetoric was made up by the media.
What do you think? Was the rhetoric made up by the media? Do young people, do people in the LGBT community, as an example, they need to be afraid? I don't want them to be afraid, but is their fear realistic? I mean, is that why they're walking out? Why are they doing these protests? Why are they saying it's not my president? I want to hear from you. This is 99.3 FM, The Truth.
Northern Lights Pizza's amazing garlic butter makes amazing King breadsticks. Now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza. I'm Brian Leach, owner of Service Legends, and my position is Chief Talent Officer.
I'm Nicholas Wonderscheid.
I am Bernie Homs,
And I'm the Service Manager.
Marketing Director and Client Relations Manager.
Everything that we do is about ensuring that we exceed your expectations.
Our clients are important to us. 100% satisfaction.
We're not just focused on heating and cooling. That's the easiest part of our job, actually, is fixing furnaces and air conditioners.
Everyone that we come in touch with, we want to improve lives.
Bottom line is, we've got our installation guarantees, 25% energy savings guarantee, comfort guarantee, temperature selection guarantee, property protection guarantee.
100% satisfaction guaranteed. Fixed rater is free.
All of those guarantees are backed up with a 100% money back guarantee to hold ourselves accountable to making sure that you get what you're after.
Just fixing the problem today. If they have another problem 5 days down the road, it's still fixed rate or it's free.
We use what's called straightforward pricing. Our technicians are going to give you an exact to-the-penny price on what it's going to take before they move forward with any repair. That way you know what to expect.
It's the same price every day.
No surprises.
If you get off work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you come home, you realize that, oh, my furnace is broken. Now you need to call somebody out that night. You shouldn't have to pay more for that.
We're guaranteeing service 24/7.
We run afternoons, evenings, nights, weekends. We're staffed to work that.
Phone rings at 3 in the morning. You'll get one of our representatives answering the phone every time.
We're not sending you out to Timbuktu in some call center. It's our Service Legend team members, our mission control team.
I'll take a call anytime.
And then they answer the phones the same way during the day as they do at night.
It's a great day at your service company. How can we make you smile?
That's the only way to provide true 24-hour service.
When you're able to let somebody actually live in their home safely when they weren't able to do that before, where they don't have to stay up at night and worry about, is the heat going to come back on? Are we going to freeze the pipes? Is the baby in the room next door going to be sick because they got too cold? When you're able to help somebody overcome challenges like that, that's impacting a life. That makes a difference. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
I love the team. I love the people that I work with.
We have fun, but we work hard.
I call them my ambassadors of legendary service. If you could just envision what that is, that's who we're sending to your home.
They literally will call in, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I want to talk to your manager. And I get on the phone, they're like, that technician that was at my house was the greatest technician ever. That's cool to me.
We want to brighten people's days.
Every person that we have going into the house has gone through an extensive background check.
Drug testing, we have a very thorough interview process that 1 out of 140 people make it through.
If we promise you something, that's what you're going to get, no matter what.
We're here when you need us to protect the safety and comfort of your family.
If you're not happy, we're going to make it right.
If we're willing to put 100% money back guarantee on what we do, what type of work do you think we do?
Give us a call. We're there for you 24/7, 365 days a year.
Enough said.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Hey, good afternoon. It is 3:38 in the afternoon on a Wednesday. Glad you're with us. This is 99.3 FM The Truth, Max World Live. I'm Chris Roloff, filling in for J. Michael McCoy today. Regular cast of characters are with us. Frank is here, Bob is here, Jeb is producing, and Jeb will take your phone calls as you call us and weigh in on this conversation. The phone number to call is 515-244-0077. We want to hear from you on this. You know, students have been walking out, and we were talking about this in the break, violating the number one rule of Max World, which is talking about these topics in the break so that all the really good stuff happens when no one can hear. But we were doing that, and one of the things that came out, Frank, you mentioned, I think it was somebody over on this side of the table said that a lot of the folks that are walking out that are protesting didn't vote at all.
Yeah, Bob's got a story about that.
Yeah, I got it. It's a New York Daily News, which, you know, you can decide if that's valid.
It's all fake. Everything's fake. Even I'm fake. I'm not even really here talking into the microphone.
It says more than 60% of the people arrested at a recent anti-Trump demonstration in Portland didn't vote in last week's election, according to a report.
So the question that I have on the table for you guys is, why are people upset? Why are they protesting? Why are they doing this? And I want to pause it on the table, and I think I've already heard this a little bit. I do not think it's because I do not think they're protesting because Hillary Clinton lost. I don't think that's why they're protesting. And I don't even really think they're protesting because Donald Trump is president-elect. I don't really think that's why. I think the reason they're protesting is because they're afraid. People feel scared. Daniela Vasquez, I said that like a white guy, student in Des Moines Public School here. She was at a student council, at a board meeting, Des Moines Public School board meeting last night, and she said that she participated in the protest because, quote, we did it in support of those people who are scared and in fear of the fact that Donald Trump did become president. I don't know that they're really mad at Donald Trump. They don't really know Donald Trump. Tana Gertz knows Donald Trump.
That's right.
And she told me like it is.
Straightened you up.
Straightened me up months ago. I said, I don't think Donald Trump is an evangelical. Boy, did she have something to say about that. She said
gave him a 10-minute diatribe and straightened
Tana
him up.
Gertz knows Donald Trump, and you don't know Donald Trump. I don't know that it's really about Donald Trump. I think it's about this fear, the rhetoric, the stuff that John, you were talking about. You have friends. Is it friends or family members that are in the LGBT community?
Both. Yeah.
Both. You have friends and family that are in that community, and they genuinely feel afraid. And you said an interesting comment. You said that these things are flaring up. The bigotry, the hatred that was dormant in many people's lives, sexual harassment, these things that maybe were dormant in people's lives, you see them flaring up, people feeling justified in their bigotry.
Yeah, and it's been normalized because of this whole election cycle. Like these people who have previously been suppressing their racism or bigotry, etc., they see a presidential elect who's been using a lot of that rhetoric freely, and he was just elected president by the country, so they feel justified in using that kind of rhetoric now, or justified in their actions, and it's making a lot of people just kind of afraid that they're going to be discriminated against or harassed because of it.
But the reportable acts of violence is happening against conservatives by liberals. The white man drug out of his car in Chicago after being sideswiped by somebody and got out to exchange insurance information. And somebody said, you voted for Trump. And he said, well, what's that got to do with anything? And it was proceeded to be beat up. This white swastika, or this swastika painted on the side of a white building, we don't know who done that. That could have been a liberal that done that, try to make things look bad. There's just not the anecdotal evidence out there that the right wing is doing this stuff. Now, there is some people out there, surely, yes, but the vast majority of reportable incidences has been happening against Republicans in retaliation for voting for Trump.
Yeah, I have a totally anecdotal story. I have a lesbian couple that are like good friends out in Southern California. They had a Trump bumper sticker and also the gay rainbow pride flag. They were attacked. They were verbally attacked. Basically told to go back in the closet, you right wing quote unquote dykes. Those aren't Christian conservatives. Those were people on the left.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it's not welcome. And here's an interesting. Well, what do you think about this, Tyler? Do you think this stuff is flaring up? Do you see around campus? Do you see bigotry on the rise? Do you see more people being rude to homosexuals on campus?
I don't think it's flaring up. I mean, we see these posters, but we don't know who even put those up. It could have been a left-wing organization just like he was talking about. And I think it's actually more likely because I feel like the left or the far left is trying to feed off of this rhetoric, off of Trump, not necessarily the Republican Party, but just Trump and his not well-versed words. So this is an opportunity for them to go on the attack and to label the right as bigots and people who just aren't tolerant. Quote unquote. I don't know that it's necessarily true, but I think that they're definitely taking advantage of this opportunity.
They are, and well, here's the interesting thing. It's one thing for somebody to get upset and protest and walk out, right? That happens. Sure. It's happened a lot in the United States. You're a hippie.
Yes.
Frank, you got a long hair and ponytail, hippie. You probably protested something and walked out on something.
Long-haired hippie freak.
Your ilk did this sort of thing.
Listen, I protested Obama. I said a lot of not so nice words in my home house. I used my mute button a lot, and I used my channel changer a lot whenever he came on TV. I got active in radio. I done a lot of writing on Facebook.
You did some stuff.
I done some stuff.
You did some stuff. And here's the interesting thing about it, and this can kind of transition into some data that Taylor brought with him. it's one thing for young people to protest, right, and express their First Amendment right. That's good. We should be able to do that. Robert, you want to be able to do that. We think that that's important as a country. It's a big part of what it means to be America. What's interesting to me about this is the support, the overwhelming support that we see from government schools, from public schools, saying this is good, which is fine. But they're siding with the students, meaning that the teachers are on the side of the students. In fact, here it is: the school board members in the Des Moines Public School praised the students for practicing their rights, and several school board members wore black armbands, a symbol of the ruling which ultimately allowed students' speech to be protected while at school. So students, they're for this. But, I just got a story earlier today that it's more than just students being happy that their teachers being happy that their students are participating and expressing their First Amendment rights. But they're being egged on. There are a lot of students, teachers, faculty members that are egging on young people to participate in this way. You should feel this way. You should be outraged. You should take this stand. And they're not able to, these kids maybe aren't even making their own decisions. They're just doing what they're told to do.
But is civil protest or civil disobedience, is that setting fires? Is that looting? Is that burning police cars? Is that throwing objects? Is that busting glass? Is that assault? Is that violence?
No, but that's not what's
overturning police cars, etc.
But that's not what's happening, right? In Des Moines here, these students are just walking out.
Oh no, I'm just talking nationwide in general. I'm not talking, specifically Des Moines.
Right, but here in Des Moines, they're just practicing their First Amendment rights and
I have
walking
no problem.
out.
I have no problem with peaceful protest.
Now, Tyler, you had some information as well that Iowa State University has some feelings about this stuff too.
We do. We had about 150 kids march out in what was called Not Our President protest, and they ended up making it into the same building as the university president's office, and there ended up being actually a discussion between the president and these protesters, and Leaf basically legitimized them. He said afterward, quote, "The protesters expressed legitimate concerns, and we plan to continue working with them to identify solutions." Well, you got guys walking into the main building of the university holding Karl Marx signs and demanding action. Well, what do you want him to do? Do you want him to try to, knock off a sitting president? What do you want him to do, guys? Go to class. I mean, I understand your concern, voice those concerns, but it doesn't need to alter and mess with everybody else's schedule.
Yet at the same time, this is the same president in a video tells the day before the election, insinuates that if we don't approve of your speech, you're not welcome at Iowa State.
Wow. So what do you think about that? Give us a call, 515-244-0077.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Rockton Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens. Rock on. This is Pat McManus for Rockton Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
Northern Lights Pizza, your home of the tasty crust. Our garlic butter sauce now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza. Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common, everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
10 minutes before the top of the hour, Salem Radio Network News is going to update us on what's going on around the world. But right now, we're talking about what's going on here in Iowa. That's in Max World. We're live. We're local. Broadcasting from Des Moines, Iowa, talking about what's going on in Iowa. Well, what's going on around the country is right here in Iowa as well. President-elect Donald Trump, I guess, the worst thing that's ever happening, the way you would think, the way the world is responding, Donald Trump's presidency hasn't even started yet.
I can't wait.
I mean, is this... We're going to have to deal with this for 4 years. I mean, if you go to any public university or any public school, just stop going. In protest, just quit. Just drop out. Be done with it. I'm going to drop out of school in protest because for the next 4 years, because Donald Trump is not my president.
Poor me.
So I'm not going to go to school anymore.
Let me ask you guys, since you're all college students, our college and universities used to be places of exchanging ideas, a public forum where you could express ideas. How do we return our college campuses? Is it beyond hope? Is it a lost cause? I mean, does more conservatives need to get in tenured professor positions? What needs to be done in your guys' estimation to return our college campuses back to the students and the people?
I want to speak as someone who's married to an academic. I've basically been informed that there's a younger generation of academics who are just getting, and this not just conservatives or moderates, but even like liberals are just getting tired of the one-sidedness of academia, and they want to return academia to its like professional, objective role of like the uninterested pursuit of truth and facts, and bettering society, not trying to do a social revolution or.
So this is off topic a little bit, but here I think might be my opinion on that. I call foul. Here's the thing. Philosophically, we've got this idea, and we're dealing with it right now. We're living in it. We believe as human beings, as Western modern people, we believe that facts and data are unbiased. Facts and data are not unbiased.
No.
Facts and data are totally just facts and data, and every time it comes out of Frank's mouth, it sounds like white, bigoted, arrogant data. When it comes out of somebody else's mouth, it's going to sound another way. Facts and data are not purely objective. They're subjective. And right now, one of the reasons why I'm so done with social media and Facebook is because I really, to be honest with you, this conversation that we're having on today's program, it is exhausting to me. You guys, there are bigger things going on in the world right now than whether or not Donald Trump is president-elect. But it seems like we are being shouted at through social media, through news media, through maybe even this radio program that we're talking about it. I want to get through the noise. I'm kind of tired of everybody being upset about this. But the thing that's really frustrating is, how do you know what truth is? How do you know what truth is anymore? If Taylor reads for me a news article and tells me about, how do I know what he's telling me isn't just a bunch of junk that he made up? If Frank says something and quotes me a bunch of statistics, how do I know if that's truth or made up?
My friend Christian always talks about circular reasoning, that we all gravitate towards things that reinforce our previously held opinion. So we constantly revalidate over and over and over our beliefs. The same thing happens on the left. Don't let them do. There's no exclusiveness to truth on the left either.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying is the college campus should be an exchange of these ideas. Left, right, center, whatever, extreme ideas. The solution to bad speech you don't like is more free speech. Let those guys hang themselves.
It's also like if you are hearing a racist argument, the solution isn't to call it a racist argument, but refute it. It will be self-evident if it's racist.
Present a better argument.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, I'm offended, that hurts my feelings, don't say that.
Right.
See that, feel that dead air, that silence.
It wears on you. Yeah, this is a tough subject.
It's a tough subject, and here's part of the thing that frustrates me a little bit is because, in the evangelical world right now, one of the things outside of politics, when it comes to disciple making as Christians, one of the things that Christians tend to do pretty well is transfer data. I can explain to you the 5 points of Calvinism, John, if you'd like me to. I can explain to you free will, Frank, if you'd like me to.
Well,
we can have long, drawn-out conversations about how the Bible teaches us that humanity has free will. We can talk about these things, but they're academic things. They're happening up here in our minds. If I'm a bigot, I'm going to live a life as a bigot, right? If I love my neighbor, I'm going to live a life as someone who loves their neighbor. I think there's got to be something where we get back down to actually doing the things that we talk about doing, or that we should be doing, rather than just talking about or sharing back and forth ideas. And I think, one of the students here that talked last night at the Des Moines Public School board meeting said something I think is important. Let me see if I can. What did I do to it? I'm going to find it. Just be patient. It's on the back of this thing. Student named Robert said, I walked out. I protested because I felt unsafe. I walked out because I believe that we are a school district that values a voice of love, unity, and togetherness. This is the important bit. Robert said, when we walked out on Wednesday, I felt like we had unity. I felt like we cared about each other. Look, just drop the political stuff, Frank, just for a minute. Who cares what this guy's political bent is? This guy felt alone, he felt scared, he felt unsafe, and Wednesday, he and a bunch of other people got together and walked out, and maybe for the first time in a long time, he felt like somebody gave a crap about him.
But
somebody actually maybe cared enough to say, you know what, Robert, your life's important. It's important to me. I know it's important to you. It's not only important to me, it's important to all these people next to me, and we're all going to walk out together because you know what, I love you, Robert, and I want you to live a long and prosperous life because you deserve to have a long and prosperous life. And maybe the guy voted for Donald Trump. Maybe the guy voted for Hillary Clinton. Maybe he voted not at all. He's a high school student, so he didn't get a vote.
But how do you prove a feeling? How do you scientifically prove that he's saying what he's saying is true? It's like the guy that says, well, I feel like a girl today. I want to use the girl's bathroom. Tangibly prove that to me. I got to accept Robert's word that Robert's afraid. Maybe Robert's full of crap. I don't know.
You wanted scientific proof for his feeling, and he gave you his word, and that's not good enough.
Well,
I feel this way.
What's Robert's?
I don't believe that. Well, then where are we going to get? We're in an impasse. If you say the cup is blue and I say the cup is red, we're never going to get anywhere. John?
Yeah, I think the first step, though, in ending this whole situation with all the unrest that's going on is making people feel comfortable enough on both sides to have a respectful and educated conversation about what we can do to, I guess, as a society, accept Donald Trump as our president and allow people to feel comfortable enough to still rally for the causes they believe in without being afraid of being shamed for it. Allow people to support Trump without being shamed for it, and not have people be afraid to express their feelings.
Good suggestion.
I think you've got, we talked about this. Last time you guys were in here, it was just before the election.
Election day.
It was election day, that's right. And we failed to point out, which was the case. It's the shame factor in all the polls. The reason why the polls had Hillary winning, I think more than anything, is because many people who were for Donald Trump didn't want to say that they were.
How dare you vote for him?
Right. The shame factor was really high. We're going to talk about that and maybe get to some solutions next hour. Salem Radio Network News is coming up next right here on 99.3.